Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look here at Bitcoin. Actually, a very important update. Kind of seeing what's going on here. We got a massive amount of volume coming through this coin, of course, and a lot of it comes from the alert here, letting us know that the DC Court of Appeals has granted Grayscale petitions for reviewing to convert its trust into Bitcoin ETF. So it's a pretty big deal. That's kind of spurred us here. As soon as that occurred, we saw a $5 million in volume in 15 minutes, and that caused this massive increase right here, and it's just been continuing up ever since. So this is a very, very good sign here for Bitcoin. It blasted straight through this resistance channel here. If we look over at our CME futures, we can see right around 27,000 to 27,500 was that previous CME gap. Okay? So that has been filled, and it's off to the races now. So the question I get a lot right now is, well, should I short at 28 or should I just let my longs roll? Well, we're going to talk about that and kind of see what's more ideal here at this point. A couple quick things I want to touch on. First, great news here from what's it called, BitGet here. We got King's Cup Global Invitational. The next 2 or 3 days you have to register for their futures, and it's $2.5 million in rewards. So totally worth checking out if you're currently one of those users. Also, congrats to our community members here. I mean, geez, taking some healthy profits from Bitcoin. 32% for a long we opened up roughly a week ago. Same with Matic, 27%. And what else do we got here? I think we've also got nice 59% from BCH here for our Premium Plus. So really cool stuff here. Definitely good stuff. Check that out. And obviously, congrats to our community members. So let's talk about this here. What's going on here? Why is the price continuing and how much further can it go? Well, looks like Bitcoin is cranking right now, obviously. 27,800 with a high of 28,140. So what does that mean for us here? Those 7% increase is pretty significant. We're going to talk about longevity and potential. Let's look at the back end data, kind of see if there's anything stark in reality here for our overall sense of things here. So we can see tons of shorts getting squeezed out. In fact, that 26,200 mark is left in the dust. That is right there, roughly where a lot of shorts were hedged, and that's why they blasted straight through, and that's why we saw the price shoot up so quick. Increased volume, but also a massive amount of shorts getting closed. When we take a look at this here, it's kind of a straight up line, but we can kind of see here so far with the amount of longs, we've got some late longs right there at about 26,800, and then prior to that, 26,500. Okay, so longs are obviously in the clear right now. And obviously we want to kind of consider taking some profits, but you got to recognize too, though, that we could continue to see this running for a little bit longer. Now, my personal thoughts initially is 27,500, 28,000 as a strong resistance. We'll confirm if that's the case, but generally speaking right now, we can see a lot of shorts. Look at that. Some late shorts at 27,000 just got demolished. Okay, so again, be very, very careful jumping into a short position. I know it seems juicy. You see all these people, 50, 100, 200x on my short for Bitcoin. A lot of them are getting demolished right now. And you got to keep in mind that they're sending multiple screenshots of these results that they have until they get it right. You can tell what it's fake because it's an open position. It's not a closed position. Okay, so I would say only trust closed positions when you see those kind of indications online. And between now and then, just obviously work within your risk tolerance. So let's talk about the daily and kind of see what's going on in the overall sense here. So okay, this little red mark here in the center is this, of course, CME gap from 27 to 27,500. There's a good chance that the price will gravitate and pull towards that. Okay, so just keep in mind, just because we're up in the 28 range doesn't mean we're going to sustain this. But you can see in previous history, Bitcoin has a tendency of running for 2 to 3 days in a row. This could be the first start, and with all that positive momentum, positive news, that could also continue the price action higher. Keep in mind, a lot of whales will push the price action to where it's at, like right now, for example, and they'll slowly bleed the price out over the next couple of days because we're getting some late, some positions that are late longs, for example, like people like you and I adding to our position at 27.5, don't want to miss the boat, and then it comes down lower from there. So please recognize that we're not in a position right now where the price action should sustain itself. It will more likely than not correct itself. But on the same accord, we got to be ready for the price to increase because this is a fairly positive thing with the ETF. All right. That said, let's go ahead and just look at some basic data here and work our way down. We got a MACD convergence here as well, which is very positive. Last time we converged on the MACD, we can see the price action shot up right here. Went from roughly about 29,000 to 30,100. Okay, so we're seeing a very similar behavior here, if you will, whereas the price action was low for some time, it peaked up, and now we're in a position where the price action's higher. So again, not really something we want to get super excited about, but it is also very much a reality on the fact that we could continue to maintain this price and continue higher. Now, what needs to happen for that is to continue the volume that we're seeing here so far. Okay, so we got a lot of volume here today, almost the same amount of volume as we saw when we had that massive decrease. What that almost, it was about 12 to 15% decrease in one candlestick. That was a 5-minute candle, by the way. That's $1.6 billion being sold at one time. This, on the other hand, is $500 million and being bought in the market, and a lot of other people getting shaken out. Okay, so it's a little bit different of a story. It's not quite as much as forceful as it was previously, but it's still equivalent to the same amount of volume. So good news is we got increased volume. If we can maintain above this moving average the next few days, we'll be just fine. Can we forecast that right now? Kind of, sort of, on smaller time frames we can. But here's the good news. We're finally approaching 30 on the RSI, and the likelihood of the price action continuing higher is greater. And actually, correction, I think, no, yeah, that is covered. Let's go ahead and remove these other two here. Technically, we are back up over 50 on the RSI. It was hard to see that. So yeah, again, we went straight from sub 30 at RSI to over 50. That is crazy, right? Again, not the most reliable indicator in this moment because of the fact that there's just so much volume that it kind of skews the numbers, right? Okay, so the daily, in a general sense here, is fairly bullish. We can summarize that. We are above the 27,500 mark, so we can summarize as well that the 200-day SMA is averaging itself out right now. So if we get a closure today above 27.5, there's a decent probability we could see the price continue higher. Again, small little things kind of adding up. So we're slightly bullish on the daily, even though it looks and feels like it's extremely bullish. We still want to approach with caution. That said, 4-hour time frame tells us we are not overextended just yet. It's still a little early. RSI is cranking up over 70. So again, I prefer not to be a late long in this scenario. But again, you could be. I think we should wait for confirmation. That's really the bottom line. I think if we can hold 27.5 here today, we're going to be in a position where we're actually looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and get this guy over here. All right, and then let's go ahead and just double check on the simple moving averages. We are rejecting initially off the 200-day SMA. So the 200 SMA on the 4-hour is equally as strong as a 50 on the daily. So a lot of times when you see that initial rejection, if we don't retest that a second time, we could see some type of handle pattern here where the price pulls back to this support and bounces off and continues higher for a retest. We can expect that to be a resistance level. Okay, so initially, moving averages are typically resistances, and then once they're broken, you can close it above and effectively consider that support. Cool thing is, if we take a look at the big picture here with our Fibonacci levels, this 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level is working as it should. It's working as a resistance level, but if we can close above that eventually soon, we could be considering that a support. So just bear in mind, it's very, very common for the price action to retrace and to reject off 0.5 on Fibonacci the first time, and that's what we're seeing right now. But once again, we've got a lot of volume here in this range, and we're going to see if that continues to hold. Speaking of volume, let's just grab a quick profile here and kind of see what's going on for the most recent past. We can see that we have a moderate amount of volume down here, but the most is right at the 29,200 range. So if the price were to continue higher, we can expect much more resistance at 29,000. But right now, at 28, we're still kind of filling this little gap here because there's not a lot of volume at this range so far. We're not really experienced at the 28,000 range. We just kind of blasted straight through it last time we came through, okay? So that said, this is par for the course here. We want to approach with caution, but also recognize that we have a lot of momentum here. This could continue, but it makes sense for 27.5 to be either retested or considered a support here in the near future. Let's talk a little bit about one last thing here, is the Ichimoku cloud. And there's really no cloud at all, right? It just kind of blew straight through it. But the cool thing is, the cloud, once it starts to average out, it will average out about 27,000. Okay, so it gives us a little bit more support, knowing that now that we've driven straight through that CME gap, it's going to potentially work as a support level from 27,000 to 27.5. So if the price does pull back, it would make sense to kind of consider adding to your position or jumping in for a long at 27 or 27,500. But right now, we got to kind of see what happens, though, because if you're a late long, the price could pull back. If you're an early short, you could also get wrecked, too. So again, there's a lot of reasons why using low leverage and low position sizing right now is appropriate, and it makes sense to consider doing that. Looks like we just got another alert here for Premium Plus. Look at that, BCH has taken off 75% in 5 days. Awesome stuff. Again, congrats to our community members. If you're not part of our Discord here, we obviously got a free general chat here, of course, and a lot of good resources for you. You don't have to use the premium option, but if you'd like to, link down below for our Premium Plus and Standard. Effectively, we have a discount right now running for the month of August, so be sure to check that out in your own time. Once again, I hope that you can learn something here, and you had. If you did, comment below, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're doing with Bitcoin too right now. Are you long, short, stay on the sidelines? There's really no bad position right now as far as being on the sidelines. That's probably the best place to be, because we got to kind of wait and calm down for this, or we wait for this to calm down, if you will. Try not to jump in and catch a falling knife or a shooting star. All right, hope that worked out and this made sense for you. Thanks again so much for joining me. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.